Do you remember when your parents took you to Times Square on New Year's Eve to watch the ball drop? And you remember the excitement as they counted down? Do you remember how excited you felt when you brought in the new year, however old you were, going home and writing about it, if that was you, or maybe if you're in elementary school, having to write an assignment about what you did over break? Do you remember the first time that you learned how to ride a bike, or even a piece of jewelry that your grandmother may have given you before she passed? When you think back to those moments, the excitement, the grief, the sadness, the disappointment, whatever you're feeling, each of those memories were uniquely intertwined with a memory. Those feelings fueled those memories, and memories, essentially, feelings visualized. So when it comes to building a brand, if you are looking to be remembered, you have to aim to be felt. Hi, my name is Naomi Olatayo, and I'm your spiritual doula, brand advocate, and brand world architect. And I work with spiritual founders of product-based companies who have a mission or a vision that is beyond what the current market has the capacity for. And if you're somebody with that type of purpose or vision, I want to introduce you the two concepts that I like to call memory manufacturing by way of emotional resonance. I brought up those initial maybe common memories, if you could relate to them, because that's the best and easiest way I can get you to begin to think back into your own life of things that have struck an emotional chord within you. When you think about something fond or even something angry, you start to exhibit or manifest whatever feeling that is associated to it. When it comes to your own brand, that is essentially the goal. And just flat out, period, your brand is a tool for emotional resonance. So as you are marketing and selling with your company, whatever products that you may offer, it could be body butters that are based off of fragrances of bakeries. You could be selling clothes or furniture that are made with the highest quality, or maybe you're something that could be very simple, like a crochet hook. Your goal for 2025 as you are selling is to get people to feel something, because as something is felt, they are able to remember that, and that whatever thing that you sell is now permanently sketched in their memory, in their mind. And that is what the concept of memory manufacturing is. Memory manufacturing is the curation of sensual experiences and moments that provide positive feelings with the intent of becoming a part of your customer's memory. This strengthens brand loyalty, word of mouth, and brand recognition, or top of mind marketing thinking. An example that I loved was Gasso's, the ice cream brands. I guess they're vegan, the vegan ice cream brands, Scream Box that they hosted in Denver a couple months ago, earlier this year.
Frozen yogurt, Yasso. Have you ladies tried this before?
No,
Never had it?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I love it. It's delicious.
Stationed their box, like this big box outside of Whole Foods in downtown Denver, and they said, for a free box of our ice cream so you can try it, we would love for you to scream as loud as you can, record it, and you can post it if you want, but this is just to help you have a relief. So it was a hot day that day. I believe it was in June, early June. So I said, okay. They closed the door, and they had a countdown. They said 3, 2, 1, and I just screamed. And they came out, handed me a box of ice cream, and I said, okay. And that was it. I was having a really bad day that day. And just, I'm not going to say it helped me like release anything, but it was just kind of like such a jarring shock out of the routine of the day that I was having, that it really etched a memory for me. So now sometimes when I'm walking by Whole Foods, I'm like, oh, that was the time when Gasso gave me a free box of ice cream for screaming into their microphone in a box. It seems random and silly, but I've remembered it ever since. And ever since then, I've bought their ice cream, and I love their brand. And that brand of ice cream is uniquely connected to the memory of that day. I was having a bad day, and then my day was my bad day was thrown off by the randomness of this brand experience that they had. And that's the whole point of memory manufacturing. It doesn't have to be anything negative or weird or uncanny. It could be something simple. It could be something that that just provides an environment of presence, or fosters an environment of presence within your customers or the potential customers that you're trying to outreach. For example, I believe Louis Vuitton set up, I'll post pictures of it on screen, but they made a huge display on top of a building that featured a Louis Vuitton duffel bag, I believe, or some type of bag with their monograms all over it. And it was, if it was ugly, it would be an eyesore, but it was so big and you could see it from blocks away. And I saw so many people post about it. Like, you just couldn't miss it. It was just right there in your face. And I know a lot of people, when they're in Manhattan, they go there for a vacation or maybe just for a day out. I guess at that part of Manhattan, it's just for a day out. But it was just in your face, and it was so big and memorable and just kind of out the blue that now when you think about it, like, oh, I was by the Louis Vuitton store that had this big display. You could even say to yourself, like, oh, I remember when Louis Vuitton had that. You know what I mean? There's an ease of recollection when you attach your brand experience to a memory that you've had. Emotional resonance, in simple terms, is a feeling provoked by something that stays. And to bring it a step further, to manufacture a memory within your customers is to provoke a feeling attached to your own brand curation of experiences or events or whatever it is that stays and leaves an impact and is remembered. There are 5 types of memory manufacturing. The first one is the product experience, which is a non-negotiable. Every brand has to have their product experience down packed, and that can go from the touch experience, the smell experience, the visual experience. The product itself should be a whole experience that people can remember. If you are somebody who has natural hair, then you might remember Dax or Blue Magic or even pink lotion. You could remember your cousins sitting in between your cousin's leg and they're taking out a scoop of Blue Magic and just putting it in your hair and plaiting your hair. And that's a fond memory for you. So as you're older, even if you haven't used Blue Magic in like 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to remember it because it produced such like a fond moment between you two. The product experience is really just a product itself. And the reason why I consider it a form of memory manufacturing is because your product really is the decoration of your customers' lives. Everything we own is a product. It was once bought, unless it was created, which is a whole different other ballgame. But once it's bought and intentionally placed in your customer's home, it becomes part of your memory. It begins to, you begin to be attached to it. It becomes important to the person. The second memory manufacturing is unboxing or the packaging. The next memory manufacturing is an in-person experience, which is kind of like the one I was talking about with Gasso's screen box. Experiences, I believe, is one of the most potent forms of memory manufacturing. Imagine having a brand event where your customers come in and they get to experience, maybe meet, I don't know, influencer that they love, or they were given this food, I don't know, that they never had before. Now they can connect that food to that brand event that they went to. Whenever they eat that food, they think of your brand. Or it could even just be a day that they met a friend, or it was just something so eventful or just fun and kind and warm and just happy for them that, you know, they always look back and say, I remember when we went to that event for so-and-so brand. You know what I mean? In-person events are very, very important. And if you've been paying attention to any marketing and brand news, you know that in-person events, specifically surrounding food, have become really, really popular. Food and marketing go hand in hand really well. So if you're looking to improve your sales and market your brand to a higher dimension in 2025, I highly recommend looking into in-person events and curating in-person events. And if you are a brand on the smaller side, I don't want you to think that because I don't have access to the funds that will allot me partnerships with different influencers or celebrities or whatever it is, doesn't mean that you can't foster an experience for your customers. You just have to think outside the box, because remember, the goal is emotional resonance. How can you strike an emotional chord within your customers and leave an impact through them? It could be small. You just have to begin to think of something with emotional resonance being the end goal, as well as a memory being at the end of it. How can you be remembered? How can you create an environment that will allow this to be memorable and be remembered and be a fond memory? And so when they have recollection of your brand, you come up. The next memory manufacturing is emotional, and that is typically done through advertising, but also through like one-on-one connection with your customers. That could be through your customer service. That could be through the staff at these events. This could also just be you meeting your customers. And the last one is sensual. A huge component of your brand success concerning your sales is the sensual experience of your brand, and that includes all of the senses. So I guess this one kind of encompasses the other four memory manufacturers. The sensuality of your brand is in your touch, the scent, its aura, its essence, anything that has to do with your spiritual or your physical senses. As you go into 2025, I want you to keep this at the forefront of your mind. How can I strike an emotional chord within my customers that leaves an impact so that I can be remembered? As you're marketing your brand, as you're selling your brand, as you're creating your Instagram posts, as you're planning these events, keep that at the forefront of your mind, because this is the way to which your brand will be remembered, understood, valued, and it'll become part of the cultural conversation, and it will be something that will become irreplaceable. I'm Naomi Olatayo, your resident spiritual doula, brand advocate, and strategist. If you align with this brand strategy method, we may be aligned to work together. The link down below if you're interested, and I'll see you in my next video.